The following is a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about them Cowboys?
Yeah! Go Cowboys! This is Media Mash, a roundtable of Cowboys insiders dropping wisdom and offering sizzling takes on the current state of your Dallas Cowboys. Now, your host, Newy Scruggs.
Yo, it's all your favorite media people here for the Media Mash. We've got real things to talk about as the Cowboys introduced their assistant coaches to the media yesterday. We do it with Joe Hoyt, All-City Dallas, the Hall of Famer. He is Ed Werder, and there is most trusted player. He's my main dog, Clarence Hill, All-City Dallas. In the house, I'm merely Newy Scruggs to carry on the conversation.
All-City DLLS.
See,
I say it
Dallas.
differently.
Yeah.
I noticed when you were
I say
asking
Dallas.
a question and introducing yourselves to the coaches yesterday, you say it differently.
Well, DLLS is a tongue twister. DL, you know what I mean?
That is our brand.
I know,
And we're trying to get people to know the brand.
but it's like inherently Dallas minus.
is.
So I still call it Dallas.
Thank you, because that's what I think of with people nationally.
No, that's what we think of. I'm just saying, though, that they're trying to get us to get the brand in people's mindset.
Yeah, it's not
Because
working.
Dallas is not, when you Google Dallas,
Tell them it's not
you
working.
got to Google DLLS. I was DLLS. When you Google, you go to the Twitter, as our friend Randy got the Twitter. He used to say,
Tell them the truth.
so it's
Tell them-
DLLS. It's not Dallas.
But she sells seashells by the seashore. It's too much of a tongue twister, you know?
People can find it if they want to.
Exactly.
Just Google most trusted.
There you go.
Tell them to get that paywall down. Try to read the story today.
Sir,
Me too.
It's just the
I was
way.
like, well, this looks like an interesting topic.
Nothing's free.
Thank you, Ed. You and I, same thing. So, hey.
$41 to read this?
I know you get a lot of stuff, not just for anyway.
You get a free t-shirt. Yeah.
And you can read Joe, too.
There you
Could
go.
read me.
You get Joe stuff.
So go ahead, tell us about your story. And I couldn't pay for it.
You saved us some coins, so now we have no idea what you wrote.
For it. I got you.
Well, Ed was here and Joe was here, and basically, it was just a rehash of things that we got yesterday talking to the assistant coaches. So one thing.
Knew he was there.
Knew he was there.
Yeah, I knew. I'm sorry. I knew it was there.
Merely.
Dirty work.
Dirty work.
But there was you talked to the coaches and they all talked about Shotty having a clear vision. The clear vision, clear direction of what they want and what he wants, how he wants this organization to look. And obviously it's run the ball. Obviously on offense is be physical and violent on defense, take the ball away. But have it's a family oriented. Have a connection with the players. It's about the players. Certainly he has the schemes, but it's about the players. But you're just talking to different coaches. Yeah, everybody has these same messages. But during this time when they're in the hotel and in the meeting room, they're all together, all in the coach room, he is continually stressing his messages to his coaches. And you saw yesterday they were parroting everything, the same things.
Yeah, I think there's a question with things like this, like how much is coach speak, how much is genuine, but I think at the very least, these are things that Brian Schottenheimer has really conveyed to them and made clear. And I think the biggest thing, specifically on offense, is the physicality that he wants them to have. You saw Clayton Adams, the new offensive coordinator, his smile lit up, and then he got real intense when he started talking about the violence that he wants these guys to play with. And I think that that's something that Brian Schottenheimer is really preaching to them. My question, though, and we were going to find this out yesterday, and I wondered, was this a cop-out or was this genuine in terms of, hey, this is right at the beginning of the evaluation, is what about the personnel? Because you can't be violent without violent people, and especially with the running game. I asked Clayton Adams, hey, you had James Conner in Arizona, but you got a lot of openings here on this running back personnel, and there's not a guy who's got the physicality that you want to kind of carry out that vision. How do you kind of go about getting that? And he's like, it's too early for that. It's too early for that. But I think that's going to be a big question as we move into the next stage of the offseason. How do you get guys to kind of be representative of the vision that you want, Brian Schottenheimer?
Did you believe it when he said it's too early?
No.
Okay, me either.
Yeah.
I'm glad I didn't pay $41 for that.
You know what, Ed?
Wow, this is unnecessary.
Ed,
Unnecessary.
2 points.
It's a physical game, Clarence.
No doubt.
This is a physical game.
There's no doubt.
Don't whine.
Well,
Who's whining?
during the break, I'm going to get the passwords from Clarence. So
To get the free access?
there you go.
What were your takes from yesterday, Ed?
Not all that different from yours, but I mean, who doesn't say all that
Right.
the first time they meet the media? Does anybody ever say, we want to be a finesse team? We want to rely on speed and imagination, and we're not really interested in taking the ball away. We'll just get it whenever they give it to us. So, yeah, I mean, none of that stuff is all that surprising to hear, but it is consistent with this thought that they do want to be do want to create an identity where they run the football on offense. And that takes us back to the Jason Garrett era, right? I mean, that's what he emphasized. And that's what's worked for this organization through time is running the football, play action, passing, and playing defense. And if they can do those things, then they're going to have a chance in the division.
You know, one thing that struck me, certainly, you just talking to the defense coordinator and all the defense coaches, it's one thing to say we're going to allow Micah Parsons do what he does best and get to the quarterback. Certainly, he's in his third defense coordinator in the last 4 years, and it's making him comfortable, allowing him to continue to rush the pass because Eberflus is not a guy who moves people around like Dan Quinn did, do the Where's Waldo thing. He kind of lets you rush from your sides and go get the quarterback. But he said, Micah's primary position will be rushing the quarterback, and it's not being linebackers getting after the quarterback. He and Aaron Whitecotton, defensive line coach, both echoed the same thing. But the thing that struck me, and maybe because they have no defensive tackles on the roster, but they were very high on the impact that they can make with one Mazi Smith, who's largely been a disappointment his first 2 years in the league. Certainly was a disappointment as a rookie. Playing in Dan Quinn's scheme, we had to get up the field. And
you don't make it any easier on him changing the defensive coordinator of the system every year.
No. Last year he was supposed to be more comfortable in Mike Zimmer's scheme, and he was on the field because they had nobody else to play. But I don't know if he was a difference maker. But these two talked about his athleticism and thinking he can get to the quarterback because they're going to be more like Dan Quinn. This defense is an attack defense. They're going after the quarterback. They're stopping and running away back from the quarterbacks. More the Marinelli stuff. It's not the read and react stuff that they did under Zimmer, which they said last year was what Mazi did best. It's about attacking the quarterback. And here's a guy who's been criticized for not getting off the ball, slow off the ball, not being able to get in the backfield. That's what they're going to be asking him to do. And so sometimes as we talked about on the show this morning, they are supposed to be optimistic, but we can't let them lie to us, right? Mm-hmm. We can't let them think that Mazi's going to suddenly be Quinnen Williams, okay?
This is just me. I took that as this is what you're supposed to say. You're getting here. A part of you getting the job is telling
what they want to hear. That was a great pick. That first, we'll make something out of this guy that nobody else
just can't lie, though.
It is.
You can lie about it and then blame him for failing.
You just.
I see what's there. I mean, it's the music producer who comes in here and says, "Yeah, I think I can work with it." I mean, and at some point in time, maybe they are Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis when they said, "We think we can do something with this Janet Jackson who never really had a hit," and they made the album Control. She became a star. Or it's just like, oh, you can't sing.
But she was first of all, she was a Jackson. First of all,
and so was Jermaine. And so was Rebe. There was a whole bunch of Latoya. There's a bunch of them who failed.
She was a star. She was a star from a child. Don't be doing Janet like that. Don't do nasty. Do not do nasty girl like that. Like she was just some guy. She was not Jermaine. She was not Latoya. She had star, but she had star power.
I did not see this coming.
She had star power. She had star power from the beginning. Back when she was a baby on Good Times, she exuded star power.
She wasn't singing on Good Times,
but she had
nor was she was on Different Strokes.
She had star power.
She had fired the daddy. And she was trying to find something in Jimmy Jam and Terry.
Trying to find some Bobby Brown too.
You don't.
She had star power.
Your history's terrible.
Anyway,
you just
I'm not. Your history. No. She had star power. She was Janet Jackson.
Whatever.
But getting back to the Cowboys coaches.
No, Cook.
One other thing that. As
me and Ed were just like,
as we're talking about them saying the right things or saying things, they kept talking about how great their cornerbacks were. How great their cornerbacks were. We got two of the best cornerbacks.
Two of the five best, Matty.
Two of the five best. And I don't know if one of them is going to be ready to start the season.
Who's available?
Or play at all.
I play at all. I'm like, come on now. I mean, let's be.
And they have a contract decision to make on him, right?
No, I think. Well,
he never mentioned Jordan Lewis at all.
No, he's.
Maybe that was the second.
They have no contract decision to make on him because he's injury guarantee for this year. They can't cut him to next year. He's on this roster.
Yeah, one thing too.
We're talking about Diggs.
Yeah, no, I know. But
Diggs
also
is on this roster.
But also one thing that Matt Eberflus talked about was, hey, we're gonna keep it simple. We're gonna try to take the ball away and stop the run, right? But I always find it funny because I tweeted that exact quote.
It better be funny.
It was funny because I posted on Twitter, and the most reaction I got, I think it's always telling when the former team fans are the ones replying to you, and they're like, "Oh yeah, good luck with those soft coverages on third down and long then," and and all these things. And Bears fans were not too kind about the hiring of Matt Eberflus.
Yeah, he has a history of bend but don't break.
Yeah,
that's his scheme. He's going back to the Marinella screen and let you out on the field. They tighten up in the red zone. They bend but don't break.
But they have created turnovers wherever he's been. They've ranked pretty high, both with the Colts and with the Bears in terms of taking the football away.
Yeah.
I look at Eberflus, who's one of my good friends, is a Bears fan too, and he's laughing and everything. And I just said, look, I get it, but we have seen that there's several people who just can't make that move. The 3 feet, was it 3 inches, 3 feet they call it? When you go from being a backup singer to singing, it's hard. It is hard. Some people can't do it. He couldn't do it, but back over here, he can do it.
He's proven he's a qualified defensive coordinator.
no doubt.
Dan Quinn showed us that because I was just skeptical. I was like, man, this dude, how's he going to come here after that whole debacle in Atlanta? And that thing didn't. Dan Quinn showed you he could still do this part of it. Wade Phillips continued after he left here and went to a Super Bowl, gave Sean McVay everything, did perfect game plan against Bill Belichick. Offensively, Sean McVay couldn't do his part. So I look at Matt Eberflus with hope that, okay, I think he can get back to this, but he's got to have the tools. Yeah. Okay, at the end of the day, he ain't no damn magician. He needs some tools, and that means players.
Now they didn't. None of the coaches talked in any length or any detail about the personnel that they're inheriting and
Too early for that.
Yeah, how committed they are to keeping guys. So when we asked him about Ozigidua, we all know how important that player is in what Matt Eberflus tries to do. I mean, that's arguably the most important player on the field to him and his system. And he went out and got a guy from Washington in Sweat at a high cost to have that presence with the Bears. And he said, yeah, we like him, but we like a lot of guys. Like, he completely gave no interest in how committed they are to trying to make a competitive bid to keep him on this roster.
And I'll ask you guys, and I like Odigizua. I've been liking him since he's a great guy, great kid. Certainly has made the most of his opportunities as a third-round pick. Is he a difference maker? Is he? I mean,
I don't know, but if you let him go, then aren't you just trying to draft another guy to replace him, and then maybe he's not as good?
Hopefully, be better than him.
If you're going to be a draft and develop team, then you got it. When you get a guy and you draft him and you develop him, and he's something, you got to keep him.
I agree. I'm just saying though, he could be getting $24 million a year. Certainly, at least $20 million a year. Is he worth that? And I know worth is a term because I don't know if Dak's.
Well, if you lose him and then you have to draft his replacement with the 12th pick, what have you really accomplished in the offseason?
But here's the unique thing with the defensive line is they don't have a lot of guys in general at all right now in that room. So, yeah, and I think if you had enough guys and you're saying, hey, we just need one guy to be the 3 technique, to be the dude, I'm cool with paying Osa that much money if you can kind of move the cap around. But they need a lot of guys. And I know this draft is deep at defensive line. To your point, you're going to be doing an exercise and trying to find Odigizua once again. But you might have to have multiple guys do it. And I just don't know if $24 million for me.
You're already saying you don't trust Mazi Smith. Now you're going to let the one guy you do trust go.
Right.
I'm just saying, even if you pay him, you're going to draft somebody. This draft is deep in defensive tackle.
Yeah.
And so you're going to draft somebody defensive line anyway. I mean, okay, let's take it a step further. Then what about Williams from Philadelphia? He considered to be the Milton Williams. He may be the number one defensive end or tackle on the board. If you're going to pay Osa, why not pay him?
You going to get him?
He's from Fort Worth. There's a chance. But, I mean, you got to bid for him. Obviously, if you're going to pay that type of money.
First of all, why does it have to get to this point every time?
That's the real problem. That's the real problem.
No, but we can't go back and,
Well, you got to change at some point, so change it now.
Well, you can't.
Like you already should have done Micah. You should have already done Odigizua.
You should have, but you can't go back and Odigizua's contract's up. You can't go back and pay him before his contract's up and get him at a discount. The rate is going to be what the rate is. So if you're going to pay that rate, why not pay that rate for Milton Williams rather than pay that rate for Odigizua is what I'm asking. If you're going to pay that rate.
Personally, I'd use that money to bring back Chauncey Golston and then go get a couple guys instead.
Chauncey's a defensive end. He's not a tackle.
No. But what I'm saying is, but look at your whole defense. No, you got holes everywhere.
Yeah. But I'm just saying.
What are you doing with DeMarcus Lawrence?
Yeah, DeMarcus Lawrence is gone. You're bringing back Mazi Smith and a bag of chips right now. You need to go get more guys. It's not. There's a lot of dudes.
The defensive tackle spot to me is still that's the issue. You're in division now with Saquon Barkley. They're the world champions. You've got to. You haven't stopped the run for 4 years. Put some resources over there. Put more resources over there. And
every good team beats you the same way.
Yes, and my problem for Mike Zimmer when he got here is I said the carpenter doesn't have his tools. And so when that's happening, you're asking dudes to be magicians and move this guy, move that guy, or go ask somebody who's been sitting on the couch forever and a day to come on and give us what you got and give us 13 plays and here's the IV machine and get some oxygen. I mean, this is what they've done.
And then he leaves and goes and plays in Buffalo.
So they've got to stop doing that at some point in time.
Well, it's a great transition.
Yes. As we go to break, what would you like to come back?
Because tools are available now, according to Dan Graziano. I mean, go get some tools. You got money, go get some tools.
Now, after the break, our own Clarence Hill will tell us about these tools right here on the...
or the money to get the tools.
Yes. Clarence with Nuggets next right here on Media Mash, DallasCowboys.com.
How do you tell the world about all the great gifts in the Yeti store? Let her rip, Troy.
All right, folks, let's get started with the Yeti French Press. Enjoy coffee that stays hot for hours in a French press. 34 ounce for you, 6'4" for the cruise. The Yeti French Press. Hot mix waterproof bags. Bags waterproof. Submersible waterproof doubles. Waterproof backpacks. World's mostly water, so get a waterproof Yeti bag. Do I smell something cooking? Oh, new cast iron skillets made to be passed down like Mama's recipes. Take a steak, cornbread, cobbler's pot pie, and potatoes and next level with 3 sizes of Yeti cast iron skillets.
Gear, gifts, and product experts. Visit the Yeti store on McKinney Street and at South Lake Town Square today.
How's Wingstop sound? Crispy, juicy classic wings, sauced and tossed in those 11 soul-satisfying flavors. Paired with hand-cut seasoned fries, house-made honey mustard, blue cheese, or signature Wingstop ranch. I think you've heard enough. Get your flavor delivered at wingstop.com.
This is Nate Newton from Hanging with the Boys, and Wingstop is here to bring the flavor to game day as the official wings of the Dallas Cowboys. Order now by downloading the Wingstop app or ordering online at wingstop.com.
Hey, Cowboys fans, a 2024 football season is here, and SeatGeek is here to help you experience all the action. SeatGeek makes it easy to find tickets so you can be a part of all the touchdown celebrations this season. Whether you're buying or selling tickets to Cowboys football games or to any other live event, SeatGeek is the place to do it. SeatGeek is the official primary ticketing partner of the Dallas Cowboys. The most disruptive idea in ticketing? A ticket that works. Expect the expected. SeatGeek.
How about them Cowboys? Or how about them Tyson Cowboys Nuggets? As we cheer for the stars on the field, we love that we've also got some stars on our plate, thanks to Tyson brand star-shaped Cowboys Nuggets. They sure make game day special, and for every purchase of the new Tyson Cowboys Nuggets this holiday season, Tyson Foods will donate $1 to the Salvation Army up to $100,000. As you enjoy your stars on and off the plate, remember, tailgates and game day have always been Tyson.
Back to Media Mash.
Media Mash with your favorite Cowboy media insiders. He is most trusted. He's Clarence Hill of All City DLS. Is that it? Or DLLS? Whatever it is.
I mean, don't
Usually he's wearing it on a T-shirt.
Dallas, right.
Not today.
Don't do whatever, man. Give us more
The
respect.
Hall of Famer Ed Werder is here, where Clarence is trying to get to one day to be a Hall of Famer. Joe Hoyt of All City Dallas. He's the youngster of the group. And I am merely Newy Scruggs to carry out the conversation here. Okay, sir.
Well, the NFL basically informed teams today that the salary cap would jump to somewhere between $277 and $281 million. That is way up from last year's cap of $255.4. Last 2 years, the cap has increased over $53 million. So the Cowboys have been complaining or talking about having cap issues because how tight the cap was going to be. No one expected to jump this much this year, so that should help the Cowboys solve some of their cap woes. You know, still they're not the team with the most cap room, but it should help them solve some of their cap woes so they can be players active in free agency.
If they want to be.
If they want to be, and it's up to them. And one person who took very much note of this, one Micah Parsons. He tweeted LFG. So that's either LFG pay me or LFG you got money to pay some other guys in addition to paying me. But LFG none the same.
Micah and friends.
It's a call to action, according to Micah.
Let's freaking go. Let's freaking go. LFG.
LFG.
Yes. So, I mean, Jerry's been talking, going back to camp, he talked about, you remember when the pandemic, you have less money. He just talked about being, this doomsday scenario out there, and everybody thought it was going to be the ticket lawsuit from the Sunday ticket lawsuit or something.
That's a great call.
That's going to bring the cap down. He's like, I got to be careful because, I know the forecast. I know the future forecast better than anybody. I know what the economics of the league is going to be, and the sky is not falling. Okay, the sky is not falling.
I think it's interesting that Micah Parsons, who is going to get the biggest contract this offseason of anybody with this franchise, and maybe the biggest in the league this offseason, certainly in position for it, and there have been no talks.
Jamar Chase wants $40 million.
You think he's going to get more than Micah Parsons?
I don't know.
From the Bengals?
From the Bengals.
Who have two other guys they have to sign?
They could have signed him
from the Bengals.
They could have signed him for
Cincy?
You think Mike Brown's going to outspend Jerry?
They could have signed him for 35 last year. They didn't sign him. He went off and had one of the best seasons ever for a receiver.
But it's interesting that his whole thing that going into this offseason is, I don't have to be the highest paid non-quarterback in football. You were there when he said it.
I know, have to be.
And he has said he wants his contract to be done early so it can benefit the team in free agency. And now they've got an extra $22 to $26 million that they didn't expect to have. And here we are talking about how they're going to let all these guys go. What's his reaction going to be to that? How is that going to change his willingness to sign here for a reasonable sum of money?
He's going to sign.
Oh, I don't.
Well, he's going to play here.
Yeah. He's going to sign a new contract.
When they sign him to the richest contract.
When?
Yeah, when is the issue? But he's going to be willing to. You said willingness, so I'm dealing with the willingness. He's going to be willing to sign here.
Here's the interesting thing too, though, and you pointed this out, Ed. And yeah, they got $25 million to play with now, but so does every other NFL team out there. And I think that this also is kind of not only a call. Yeah, it's a call not only for the Cowboys to do action, but everyone else. Like the Philadelphia Eagles have shown to be very, very aggressive with a little bit of amount of cap space. How do you think they're feeling over there right now when they see, hey, we got $25 million more to play with and to push things back? The Micah Parsons call to action is really more relevant now than ever because, hey, you have room now to do things. Everyone else is going to do something. Why don't you do it too?
And you have motivation. You're the third best team in your division.
Right. Yeah. But who's the happiest? The players, because this means more money. There's going to be more money out there in free agency. Right. All those contracts are going up. So, Osa is going to get his $20 million.
No doubt.
Or whatever else. They're going to. Nobody's coming in on cheap deals because people got money to spend and have to spend the money. They don't necessarily have extra $20 million. It's just projected more than what it was. So it probably going to go up $10 million. As it
well, at the floor, that's 277, which means they're now under the cap.
Yeah. So not necessarily got an extra $20 million, but it's probably an extra $10 million that they didn't project.
So, but the relevant numbers are that the Cowboys have not participated to a significant extent in free agency, and when they had the Brian Schottenheimer introductory press conference and Steven was asked about following the Eagles model, he was still very non-committal about it. And Jerry didn't say, hey, we've realized that we've got to use this aspect to improve our roster like so many other teams do, especially teams like the Eagles in our division and Washington at our expense. And there was no commitment that they were going to do this. And if you look at the numbers, they spent the fewest amount of free agency dollars last year, $18.85 million, 11 one-year contracts. That's what and they were the last team to sign a player. And they've been the last team to sign an unrestricted free agent 3 of the last 4 years.
Yeah.
And here's the Eagles. Jeffrey Lurie's selling 8% of his franchise, so he has more capital to invest in improving his roster. The Giants are now doing the same. Is Jerry ever going to sell a fraction of his franchise?
He's not even going to give somebody.
No. He doesn't want anybody else to be called an owner.
Nobody.
Of the Cowboys.
Yeah.
When we say
he had to buy out all those people to make sure
when he came in the league.
And we say nobody else, we mean nobody else.
We mean Charlotte, Steven.
But wasn't Steven introduced as a co-owner?
Yeah.
Okay. So.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, they are co-owners. Jerry owns 51% or something like that, and the kids own the rest. So,
but the Cowboys have ranked 27th in free agent spending since 2017. They haven't been in the top 20 since they were 19th in Dak's rookie year.
Yeah, and that's what kills me about. And that was Dak's rookie year, but what about his second year? They didn't spend a lot of money.
Well, last year they were 32nd. In 2023, they were 28th. The year before that, they were 25th. The year before that, they were 26th. The year before that, they were 21st. The year before that, they were 30th. The year before that, they were 29th. 2017, they were 23rd.
Right. So that's what kills me when people talk about Dak's money and how Dak's money limits the Cowboys from signing anyone. They weren't signing anybody anyway. When they had Dak on a rookie deal, they didn't sign anybody. They were not players of free agency. So it's not like if Dak doesn't get $60 million, they're going to use their money and something. They haven't done that. They haven't shown they're going to do that.
Yeah, it's not about only spending. It's about how creative you spend. And they've proven a lack of creativity in this regard. The one thing, Jerry did say we got to get better with the cap, but until you see them actually do it and manipulate that, then there's no reason to trust that they would increase that free agent spending.
They know how to manipulate the cap.
They might know, but they haven't shown it.
Yeah, well, they have no willingness to do it.
Exactly.
I mean, none of this is rocket science. What the Eagles are doing, what anybody else is doing is not rocket science.
Yeah.
So will the fact that the Eagles have now won a second Super Bowl with their second head coach, will that be the impetus, and having Brian Schottenheimer here, knowing right now the fan base was underwhelmed by the hire, would that?
Were you going to support this guy or not? You hired him, you promoted him. Nobody else did that in this hiring cycle. Nobody else promoted their coordinator to a head coach, a non-play calling coordinator. So he's got 2 jobs he didn't have last year. Are you going to support this guy or not?
And he can't succeed without that support.
And that's why I wonder about just the free agency aspect. And was it training camp when Steven said, hey, all the tickets are sold?
I think so.
Highest renewal rate in the league.
Yeah. Highest renewal rate in the league.
Yeah. That happened.
Last year.
He started that in owners meeting in March. But yes, he talked about the renewal rate and everybody re-upping. Well, they re-upped this year.
You think we'll start to get some sense of this next week when they're at the Combine? And
I think
deals start getting made and talks are had, and
unofficial free agency begins at the Combine. And so they're, obviously you got agents there with their clients, agents who also have free agents, and they have conversations. And the thing about the Cowboys is they can talk about their own guys. The thing about the Cowboys is they have so many of their own free agents. They have to sign guys just to fill out a roster. Okay.
Yeah.
They have, and that's not including going and improving the roster by signing guys who weren't here. They got to start filling out holes just to field a football team. We talked about they have one really defensive tackle on the roster that's signed on the roster. Well, actually, if you conclude Justin Rogers as 2, and maybe some of the guys you got on the practice squad, but Mazi and Justin Rogers is really all you got at defensive tackle. You got to sign bodies.
Look at their running back room.
Yeah, same thing with the running back room, the linebacker room.
Quarterback.
Yeah, they have one quarterback on the roster, and so they got to sign bodies. So they will add people. Adding people is not the same as being all in, though. They have to add people because they have to fill out the roster. There's a difference between them going all in and adding difference-making players to improve the talent.
They've got to address the defensive tackle position to me. I mean, that has to be job number one. You are in a division where you got the world champions and
the other team that went to the NFC Championship game, a team on the rise with a rookie quarterback.
A rookie quarterback who can run, and they're going to add to their running game. I thought Eckler didn't have his best year, but he's still a very good player. And DJ Eckler and Robinson, they've got a running attack. So to me, it has to start there. You did, so while they put resources, Shotty wants to run it, you better stop it too. It has to go both ways. Run it, stop it.
Yeah, because I asked Eberflus about it. We're going to stop the run. How you going to stop the run? They've been saying that for the last 4 years. They got to stop.
To stop the run, you need defensive tackles and linebackers that they don't have. Right. And to run the football, you need a dynamic player at running back that they don't have. So where are these guys coming from?
Yeah, it's interesting that I asked Clayton Adams about his rushing offense and how the quarterback.
You kicked in Kyler Murray real quick on him. I saw that yesterday.
It's just something that need to be addressed.
I was happy about that because I was going to ask that.
Part of the success of the offense is the quarterback run from. You don't have that in Dallas, and he did not back down from the fact that he likes the quarterback being able to run
in certain situations. What do you say? Goal line.
Yeah.
Plays where you really got to have it.
Yeah.
Game.
He didn't back down from that though. So I need Dak. Pilates, you get to rehab. I need you to stretch that leg out.
But he ain't
Maybe that's when you put Trey Lance in.
Clayton
is he on the team?
Free agent Trey Lance.
Clayton ain't calling no play. So
I understand that. That's part. But you brought him here for what he brings to the running game, and the QB run is part of that. And that's the thing about that frustrates me about the whole thing with Dak is that's who you were. That's what made you great in college. That's what made you special early in your career. The idea that they just completely went away from that when the league was coming towards that. You had the Lamar Jacksons come to the league. The league is going toward the QB run, and you went away from that.
It's been some time.
Is that more
trying to make Dak Tom Brady?
And I was going to say, was that more McCarthy or a consciousness by Dak?
Or was it the investment the franchise made in?
Well, it's just like going back then. We're old enough to remember in Philly when they discouraged Don McNabb from running and tried to make him a pocket passer when running is what part of made him great.
Although some people say he wanted to be prove he could be a pocket passer.
Right, because that was the mindset. If you're not a real quarterback unless you're a pocket passer, you have longevity. You have no longevity in this league if you're not a pocket passer. If you don't do the Tom Brady and Peyton Manning model rather than carve your own niche. And I think that's the same thing with Dak. Yes, I think some of it was the coach, some of it was Jerry Slay after he got injured, but part of it was Dak. That was this whole mindset being preached about, you need to be able to stay in the pocket for longevity and build, rather than just do what you do best.
But Clarence insulted him into being a running quarterback again, and look at how that turned out.
Well, he was actually running well in that game, too, which is the crazy part about it. And then, obviously, if you haven't run a lot,
he had their longest run of the season.
He should have just stopped 10 yards earlier.
Yeah.
And it's meat off the bone.
He left some meat on the bone.
No, that meat was off the bone.
Meat off the bone.
But even Schottenheimer's offenses when he was calling plays in Seattle involved a running quarterback and Russell Wilson, who was at the height of his powers at the time. And, he was reluctant to let the ball out of his hands in clutch situations. Like, he ran. That's what he did.
Right. He was decisive. That's the thing. When you do it, you got to be decisive. One thing that you look at with Jalen Hurts and those guys, even Patrick Mahomes, when he decides to get upfield, he's decisive with it. Because you don't have to be fast, but if you're not going to be fast, be decisive. So you can get, because Dak is not very fast, but neither is Patrick Mahomes.
I think one of the commonalities all four of the teams that got to the AFC and NFC championship games had were quarterbacks who ran for at least 300 yards. Yeah. And obviously Daniels ran for way more than that.
Yeah.
He led Washington in rushing and passing. And that's not uncommon for Josh Allen to do, but I think that's not going to happen here anymore.
No.
Which is placing more importance on finding a real running game. And so the draft and free agency, they've got to look at defensive tackle. You've got to look at the running back. You got to control the lines. If you're going to win this division, clearly the blueprint is out here. You've got to control the lines. It's something they have not done. They tried to work around it, tap dance around it. They failed. Last year was miserably failing, and then you start to look at this year's schedule. You got to go to the AFC West, face them. You got to go to the NFC North and face them, along with Philly twice, Washington twice. You've got to fix the defensive tackle, defensive line, offensive line. All right, when we come back, is the franchise tag usable on any player? Would you do it? We'll go around the table and ask Clarence Hill, Edward, or Joe Hoyt. I'm Newy Scruggs, Media Mash, right here on DallasCowboys.com.
Star Sports Tours is the only official fan travel partner of the Dallas Cowboys, offering exclusive game weekend travel packages with pre-game sideline access and photo ops with current players, cheerleaders, and Cowboy legends. You want to stay at a team hotel, attend the best tailgate party in Texas, tour the Star, and talk X's and O's with me, Everson Walls? With Star Sports Tours, you can. Visit cowboystravel.com to book your travel package today.
Hey Cowboy fans, I'm Dak Prescott, quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys. But lately, I've been learning a new game, crypto. Sound confusing? Don't worry, even us pros were rookies in crypto once. That's why I trust blockchain.com. They make crypto easy. No confusing jargon, just the tools to help you win.
Prescott keeps it, slides with a first down.
Invest like your icons, where everyone is a rookie in crypto with blockchain.com.
Perfect throw, my goodness. Wow, did he ever thread the needle?
Visit blockchain.com/Cowboys to get started.
Star Sports Tours is the only official fan travel partner of the Dallas Cowboys, offering exclusive game weekend travel packages with pre-game sideline access and photo ops with current players, cheerleaders, and Cowboy legends. You want to stay at a team hotel, attend the best tailgate party in Texas, tour the Star, and talk X's and O's with me, Everson Walls? With Star Sports Tours, you can. Visit cowboystravel.com to book your travel package today.
Cowboys football and Miller Lite. What a pairing. Can cracks at kickoff. Tailgates going way past postgame. Sunday night overtimes followed by Monday morning swagger. Brisket in the smoker. Miller Lite in the cooler. America's team playing America's greatest sport. Miller Lite, the only beer of the Dallas Cowboys. Dallas Cowboys football tastes like Miller time. Celebrate responsibly. 2023 Miller Brewing Company, Fort Worth, Texas.
Back to Media Mash.
Media Mash right here, coming to you from the Star, the SWC podcast studio in Frisco, Texas. It's cold outside. It is cold, 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 cold. But Clarence Hill wanted to do the show. And so Clarence calls. He wants the show done. We do the show.
Let's go.
Joe Hoyt got the call.
As long as we don't have to do it outside.
Ed saw the bat signal, the dog signal. Ed came in here. I came in.
You're such a hater.
Clarence wanted.
There's no weather event. There's nothing on the roads. It's just cold. You're from Colorado?
I know. I was just there, and I took my big parka, my big North Face parka there, thinking I need it there more than I would here.
Hey,
we only got 2 days. We're done. Next week, 70 degrees.
That's what I concluded. I'm leaving it there.
It's all good.
And still needed more there.
Clarence called for it. Chris Beam and I just said, yeah.
We'll make it happen. We'll plug in the stuff.
There you go.
I'll come up with the topics.
There you go. There you go.
Well, he wanted to use all that knowledge he gained yesterday talking to the assistant coaches, so it is timely.
There you go, man.
Very much so.
Executive producer.
Oh, my God. Such a hater.
And paid as such.
In the background.
Paid as such.
All the video.
Franchise tag.
Yes. Franchise tag. Anybody worthy of it, especially now that we see the salary cap in here going to be moving up here to what, 277.
Well, it was just like our conversation earlier. You know, look, we all like Odigizua. Is he worth $20 million a year? And that's what the franchise tag is for a defensive tackle, you know?
No, it's going to be even more than that for him.
Yeah.
Is it 24?
Yeah, 24. Yeah, I'm saying, yeah, over $20 million. I mean, is that
he's going to get that.
He may get that.
He will get on the market.
If you're going, what I'm saying is, even before the cap thing came out, if you're going to franchise tag
Dan Quinn's already pacing outside his residence right now.
Well, either I heard they're trading for the guy from Cleveland. I mean, you know,
Miles Garrett.
Yeah,
we'll have them both.
Yeah, both. And they got as much cap room as anybody. Washington has a lot of cap room to play with. So,
Yep.
But if you're going to franchise, you might want to sign him to a deal because you franchise, you have to carry that whole weight on your salary cap. So it doesn't help you, you know, try to sign other guys. You don't really want a $24 million hit. If you're gonna consider franchise, if that's going to be the case, then sign him to a deal so you can lessen his cap figure. But that's a lot of money. Outside of him, there's really nobody worthy of franchising.
Yeah, because if you sign him, you can manipulate it long term rather than just taking that $24 million cap in and still allow you to go get more defensive linemen. Because that's the problem I keep coming back to is they need bodies, they need dudes, they need a lot of help there. And if you ask 3 rookies to do it on the draft from the draft, I don't know if they can step in and immediately carry that kind of weight.
Yeah, it's tough for a defensive lineman. You look at the Eagles, and we love what they've done with their Georgia guys, but Jalen Carter wasn't Jalen Carter as a rookie. Nolan Smith wasn't Nolan Smith as a rookie. Davis wasn't Davis as a rookie. You know, you know they've molded and come into those guys. You know, so it's hard for those guys at that position. And I'm not making excuses for Mazi, but for them really to have an impact as rookies.
But he's not a rookie.
I'm talking about he did.
So
the Cowboys tried just the opposite strategy last year from that, right? They waited until training camp was almost over and brought in guys who had played 12 or 15 years and were retired.
Yeah,
called them on the couch.
Who was on the couch? That is not the move at all. But yeah, no, franchise tag day, transition day. Could started yesterday. I don't see the Cowboys.
I wouldn't use it, but I would be threatening Osa with it right now, trying to get him to sign a multi-year deal. Like, if you don't sign a multi-year deal, you're not going to free agency. We're gonna franchise tag.
And he'll say, "Good, I'll take $24 million this year."
You don't have to be telling him the truth.
I'll take $24 million this year. No, give me 24.
Yeah, but would you rather have?
It's fully
would you rather have 80?
80's coming next year because you ain't gonna do it back to back.
Why wait?
You ain't gonna do it back to back years. I'll be back in the market making that.
Might need it
the
for
cap
Micah.
The cap might go up another $20 million. I'll be back. I'm gonna take that. You know, just like the running back. Tony Pollard took that. I'll play on the franchise tag for a year.
Yeah.
Next year, you're not going to do it back-to-back years.
Yeah, one thing they can't threaten, though, in my opinion, is the transition tag. I think that's been kind of a conversation. If you're threatening an $18 million 1 year, well, you can still negotiate with other teams. That's going to do absolutely nothing because you are going to significantly exceed on the open market $18 million.
Except they would get a pick back if they...
No, that's the thing. You get no compensation for transition tag. There's...
Just right of first refusal.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And I don't. That would make no sense.
I did not talk to the special teams coordinator yesterday at all.
For the former 49ers defense coordinator,
Nick Sorensen, the guy with the big flat hat.
Flat hat.
Big flat hat.
He said all the right things, but what he said was he works for Schottenheimer. Schottenheimer don't work for him. He does not make decisions when the fake field goal, when the fake punt, when the onside kick. Yeah,
players can't activate on their own.
No, if there's any activation, it's going to be coming from the head coach. It won't be coming from him. Because I asked him, how's your fake punt?
When I heard a little chuckle.
That is such dirty work by Clarence.
I heard a chuckle behind me before he even asked it. I heard him like remming the engine, getting ready to go, and says,
"You weren't here, but there was a lot of activation going on." Where the head coach,
there's way too much activating.
Head coach looked like Boo Boo the Fool while fake punts at the 30 were going down. Do you do that in your? Boy, that's some dirty work.
I'm just saying, but you got to have a special team coach on the leash, okay? You just can't have a special team.
That head coach is not here anymore.
You can't have a special team coach just running his own program.
I'm sure Brian Schottenheimer's learned from that.
That's why he got to run out of L.A. Come on, man.
Right. Like I said, this is Brian Schottenheimer. Man, I don't really remember things. Ed, can you recall any activations under Marty Schottenheimer? I think the Schottenheimers kind of had a
conservative. They're very conservative.
Frank Gans is pretty good over there for Marty during the years. So, I mean, the special teams could look different. They've got some good players here that they need to re-sign.
No.
Yeah.
And you made the point about they need to re-sign their punter and who's also the holder and the long snapper.
Yeah, they got a great battery that's been a Pro Bowl battery, but two of those three guys are missing. He did say that, hey, we're going to want to get them back, and I've heard nothing but great things, and so I mean, we'll see. What else is he supposed to say about that?
Listen, we're not going to belabor the long snapper, okay? They will find a long snapper.
Did they have any issues at long snapping?
They will find a long snapper.
There are two tiers. There are two tiers of long snappers: those who mess up and those don't.
And the Cowboy Journal have found a long snapper.
Yeah.
They will find. Going back to Dale Illustrated, you have a pretty good long snapper.
LP Lattisu is probably hanging.
LP ready to come back.
Hey, there are bad long snappers out there.
Yeah, but the Cowboys have really generally never had one.
And Trent wasn't one of them.
So they'll get a long snapper, and I think they'll be okay at punter.
Sorry, we can't afford our long snapper or our punter. We're going to draft.
What if we franchise tag the long snapper? Did you bring up
that the USFL or UFL now?
The punt return is also a free agent.
He is restricted, yeah. But what if you franchise tag the long snapper? I mean, you take the three highest long snapper salaries. I think that actually could be a deal. I'm in on this.
Long snapper's happy to be on the team, sir. He was
franchise
showed
tag.
me the contract. My family will see him in a couple of years. Where you want me to sign?
What about the punter, though?
Punter probably going to be the same way.
Okay. Yeah.
So you're not scared if Fossil decides to take them down to Tennessee with him?
I mean,
who, the long snapper and the punter?
He's not scared of it.
As long as they don't take the kick returner and the kicker.
Fossil loves Anger's arms.
We're
I'd
good.
be careful about that. Exposing him.
As long as they don't take
Talk
the
about
kick returner and the kicker, we're good.
Okay.
As long as they don't take the kicker and the kick returner.
Just asking. Any other nuggets from the assistant coach media gathering that you
Well, yeah, one guy I talked with a lot was David Overstreet, the new corners coach, and I think that when people look at last year's staff to this year, one big loss that they talk about is Al Harris, right? And how are we going to replace Al Harris? David Overstreet said a lot of good things. I think he had the best quote of the day when he said that, hey, when the ball's in the air, I tell my guys, that ball is yours. That if a quarterback threw it, that means he doesn't want it anymore. And if he's throwing it at targeting you, that means he thinks that your guy is better than him. So go out and take offense to that. And I kind of like that energy. I think that that's going to be one thing to kind of follow is how does David Overstreet's unit compare to what Al Harris's unit did? Because I think a lot of people look at that as a huge loss.
I thought the other interesting thing was both on the offensive and defensive sides. I mean, we talked about guys saying what they're supposed to say, but at the same time, you're kind of calling guys out. And Aaron Whitecotton, the defensive line coach, did that, and so did the offensive line coach from Kansas State. Connor Riley both of them talking about finishing and you're going to do that or you're not going to play. And I mean, I thought that was kind of an interesting common theme that some of the.
I was wondering, and Bobby Belt asked that question about finishing, and I think he was taking a shot at Mazi. I think that was a Mazi-directed question, and that was the answer. You're going to finish, you're going to run with energy or run to the ball. Because those are things that, Rob Marinelli talked about. You know, if you remember, he made those guys sign it was very controversial. He made the guys sign this agreement before they signed the contract that you will run hard and you won't loaf. You know, that's something that's been a big part of this deal.
That's not in the standard player contract?
No, it's not.
Addendum?
How'd that work out for Tristan?
That addendum with my boy Tristan Hill.
How'd that work out?
How did luncheon
But Connor Riley was talking about he was kind of sort of non-committal about where Cooper Beebe would
that was
play.
the question I asked.
Yeah,
right? Because Cooper was an All-American guard for him out there at Kansas State. That's where he played the entire time. And then he talked about he did play
played every place. He started a game at every place on the offensive line except center. Then he comes to Dallas and he starts 97% of the snaps at center and outperforms the first-round draft pick who was an offensive lineman as well, while making the conversion from a position change and going from college to pros as a third-round pick. I mean, pretty incredible year he had.
Yeah. So he was better than that first-round pick in college, though. That first-round pick was picked because of potential, not because of production.
But and this is just me, I wonder, do you go with – I'll go back to Andre Gerard. Andre Gerard was a All-American guard at Colorado, but then Bill ended up putting him at center.
Right.
Figured it out late, but he played some center there, and they ended up going to the Big 12 championship game, beating the Longhorns that day. And it was on a lot of the strength of him. Sorry. Do they do that same thing with Connor Beebe? They say, hey, man, let's put you back at where we know you can excel. But I know some people get into the short arms and all this kind of stuff.
Well, and maybe it depends on what Zach Martin does.
Yep.
And Connor and Brock Hoffman. I mean, I'll be interested to see what they do.
And Connor Riley knows him best because it was Connor Riley's idea at Kansas State to actually train him as a center before he even ever played center.
And just going back to Zach Martin, I saw at the Super Bowl, he certainly says that he's going to wait till his leg heals to make a decision another 4 or 5 weeks, but he was still limited at the Super Bowl from surgery. And, again, you look at his contract, he's essentially a free agent, although he could account like $10 million against the Cowboys cap. I just don't see him coming back. He talked about it because he doesn't want to just come back to play. He wants to come back and be Zach Martin. And if he can't be Zach Martin, I don't think he wants to play.
I wouldn't either. He's got too much of a reputation.
But he sounded like he liked the way Schottenheimer was going to structure the offense and the kind of play style that they were going to have.
Oh, no. He said all the right things, but when you just continue to talk to him and then you watch him walk, he's not healthy yet.
All right. Clarence Hill, most trusted.
You didn't shame him into his injury, I don't think. Just the quarterback.
Just the quarterback. Hall of Famer Ed Werder. Hey, the young up-and-comer Joe Hoyt. I'm Newy Scruggs. Thanks to Chris Beam, Josh, Jazz, everybody a part of DallasCowboys.com. We're out.
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about this, Cowboys? Yeah!